understand that difference in the different elements of innovation, because they're all essential parts of this, right? Foreign direct investment has been hugely important in this country to create a scale of international trade, but also to create people flow as well with some skills, right? And that should keep on going. But we need to now start to look as well and say, well, where's Ireland's innovation coming from, where we're now indigenously starting new ventures with smart people and bringing the technologies forward to the marketplace in that manner as well.
Cool.
I don't want to sound the negative voice now, but I think for all the positive cultural openness that we have, there is still a tranche where we are relatively conservative. And Philip asked, when did we stop doing the things that we loved to do when we were kids? So I was the one who ripped up all the cardboard boxes in our house. I used to love to paint, and I was the annoying student at school who put my hand up every Friday, please give us an essay for homework, Mr. Kern. Please give us an essay. And everyone else was throwing daggers at me. And we stopped doing the things that we loved to do, because when I said I want to study art at university, my mother said, would you not go and do a sensible degree like commerce? And you can do that stuff in your spare time. And then you put down your childish things and you don't go back to them. And so I actually thoroughly recommend everyone goes and buys a copy of The Artist's Way and remind yourself how much you loved ripping things apart and making things and writing things, just to get back in the habit of doing that. But, you know, and Brendan and I have talked about this before. I remember I met him in the Digital Hub one day and I said, now, how recently has it been since your mother told you to give up that nonsense and get a proper job? And so we do have a challenge culturally. Particularly, we can do all the right things in schools and we can give them all of the opportunities through transition year, through primary school, secondary school, even through great university degrees. But if we've culturally ingrained in people that is all very fine, but when you're finished doing all that stuff, you have to be a grown-up and you have to get a proper job. And so that doesn't always include working in a startup. You need courageous parents and courageous teenagers who will stand up to the maybe less courageous parents. And I think that's a challenge we have to overcome, and that's why it's so important that we have great role models like Brendan. And if we can only get his parents to speak now about how important it is what he does as well, and encourage other parents in the schools to let them do that, I think that's it's something we have to overcome, and I think it'll take time, and I think it takes great role models like this to make that happen.
Just before I come to you, Ben, do you think that's specifically Irish though, or is that not?
Oh, it might well be everywhere. But
do you know what I mean? Has the world changed that we do tend to not allow for enough creativity, ironically, and then we're looking for creative people, then, you know, you look at Brendan trying to find the people for
I think there might be two elements to that. Philip identified the fact that it's a phenomenon globally, right? But I think in Ireland, it's not that easy to start a new venture. In fact, it's highly risky, and risk beyond just the normal business risk associated with starting a new venture. And that's the issue parents face. As a parent of young kids myself as well, you know, you're thinking about their future, and the options that are very popular every time it comes to leaving cert is, you know, the safe professions, or into the civil service, or something that's long-term safe as such, right? So what we need to do, if we really want to develop this opportunity of innovation, is we need to take away some of those artificial risks associated with starting out in your own at an early stage, and bring that, foster it with the right kind of supports at that really early stage in the evolution of a concept, and do that in a fairly repeatable and structured way within the economy.
I think we also have to recognise people who make the effort and do that. And I mean, we've made a start in that. I mean, the Innovation Luminary Awards that Bro was involved in last year globally looked at that, and one recipient here. And then the Lord Mayor also instigated the Digital Heroes Awards. She got one as well, mind you. But the point is that it was to try and recognise people who were trying to do things differently. So incentivisation sometimes comes by way of awards. The other thing, if I can throw into the mix, because I think it's something we're not good at, is when we're thinking about new projects that have to be done, we don't always go beyond the silo of our organisation. I'm thinking public sector here now in particular, to invite people to come up with the ideas that could make those different. Now, we are looking in Dublin City Council at the kind of beta testing, test bedding, you know, opening the city streets up to test bedding those ideas. But when there's a challenge, whether there's a current challenge, very good project, Dubline, it's about putting in information for tourists. But I'm not sure that we've invited in people like Soundwave to give us solutions. which are about getting your information on the go, because we've learned at a forum recently, by 2015, 65% of all stuff is going to be coming by video. We know that, you know, tourists visiting Dublin have a problem accessing cheap, free Wi-Fi downloads because the data bundles they're taking are large. So if we combine those issues, we could come up with solutions where a tourist could actually walk the tourist trail and get the information as they go, and we begin getting data and survey material, and businesses can interact with the tourists. But we haven't, our attitude is not to throw it out there and say, let's ask small Irish companies to come up with those solutions. One small thing that strikes me, a lot of what we're looking at and a lot of what we're doing in our section around digital innovation is technology focused. But I think the 3D printer and what's going to happen to the production system, we need to be innovative about what economic model will follow our current model, because our current model is based upon wages and salaries for production, you know, transport and distribution. That's all going to change. And, you know, I'm not sure we're thinking ahead on that one, but that's on another aspect, but that's innovative too, how we structure society.
I'd like to come in on that one because I'm a firm believer that the model that will follow our current model is going to be a model based on new venture innovation and scaling those ventures internationally. So a lot of it is about actually creating the ecosystem in which new ventures flourish and have the right kind of supports around them. And that is actually the future, because, you know, it's something that is continuously reinventing itself, and therefore it is a sustainable long-term solution for us. As a market, you know, we just don't have a domestic market here really, right? So yes, there are a couple of initiatives you could do on the health side or the smart grid side that would, from the e-procurement side of things, might seed or start something, but we always will have to trade internationally, and the fastest moving markets are always going to be internationally. So therefore, you know, it's not going to be a case of manufacturing to supply those, but being capable of following those markets and coming up with the ideas and identifying where the problems, the next generation problems are coming from, because that's where it's all about. It's solving next generation problems with good solutions.
Can I just add to that briefly? One of the things that came up at Open Innovation 2.0 was that, you know, and we said earlier on that innovation is not just the ideas, it's the adoption. And, you know, we need to look at it ourselves as a country and see how many percentage-wise early adopters we have here. It's very hard to get, and I totally, because I have a retail background, so the B2C thing is really important to me, and that's why I think Soundwave is so exciting. Getting a B2C proposition off the ground in a market this size, where you're looking at, again, a small percentage who are going to be early adopters. But I have signed up now, and some of my friends are on it already, so this is good.
We should get a counter actually up for it.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be one of the challenges, and I think, you know, it's one of the things that I think is particularly important about Ireland and Dublin as a centre, as a hub, is, and the environment that we need for that, is that we need courageous people not just to do the innovation, but to do the adoption of that. And I think that one of the things that it struck me when I was in conversation, again, God, you leading Living Cities guys are getting a real big shout out today. You know, one of the things that came up is that the great thing about Dublin is we're actually all living in the real world here, you know, and it's not a fake digital little microcosm where, you know, it's all those people together who actually don't face real, you cannot, I think you have to live in the real world to encounter real issues or real consumer problems, to look at innovative and creative solutions for them. They're real world things, and I think if you create an environment that is so contrived as to force innovation, that actually you won't have that natural creativity. So I think that's the great thing about Dublin. It's small and it's real.